Technical role versus management role. How to make a choice? Now, this is a very common question, right? All the IT professionals, especially people who have crossed 10 plus years in the corporate world, they have this question. Should I move ahead in technical role or should I move towards management? If I have to stay in technical role, like what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages here, right? And if I have to do management, right, if I have to get into management role, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages, how to make this decision in life? Now if this is the question you also have in your career and life, then this video is for you. Because there was a time in my career when I also reached this place when I was confused what is the role that I need to move forward in, because I was into technical role. I had like done my computer engineering, and for 10 plus years I was doing a lot of technical stuff there. And then now I reached a place where I was thinking, should I go into technical, should I go into managerial? And I know how difficult that stage or that phase was, because it was really difficult to understand how to make that decision. How do I actually make that decision? Because that's a very crucial decision in any life, right? Especially in our careers, like that decision can define how we will move forward in the career, and actually it will help us in terms of what is the career path we take so that we can become successful in that career. Now, how do you make this decision? What are the things that you need to do to make this decision so that your decision is the right decision and it can help you to become successful in your career? Can we deep dive into this? Yeah, are you ready? Yes, if you are ready, let's get into this. So what are the things that you need to do? There are 3 steps I'm going to talk about which can help you to make this decision the right decision, and you can navigate that career in the right way. So what is step number 1? Step number 1 is self assessment. Now you need to assess yourself so that you can make the right decision. In self assessment, there are 3 things that you need to do. The first thing is passion. You need to think of, what am I passionate about? Am I really passionate about technology, or am I passionate about people? Am I passionate about coding, solving problems, right? Technical problems? Am I more passionate about this? This something that makes me more energetic, positive, happy? Am I passionate about this, or am I passionate about management, like talking to people, stakeholders, right? Engaging with projects, right? Coaching teams, formulating strategies, communicating, leadership. Am I passionate about that? So you need to ask this question to yourself. Excuse me. All right. So the first one is passion. So am I passionate about this? So passion is the first step in the self assessment that you need to look at. What is the next thing? What is the next thing that you need to look at? The next thing you need to look at is strengths, right? What are your core strengths? Like, are you better at technology? Are you better at technical things? Are you better at technical problem solving? Or are you better at communication, people management? What are you better at? Right? You need to look at that, because it's your strengths that can help you to accelerate your career growth. So you need to look at, what are my strengths? What are my core strengths? Is it more inclined towards technology, or is it more inclined towards people, processes, strategy, right? Is it more inclined towards that? So that is the strengths part. And the third part is feedbacks. In self assessment, a lot of people look at passion and strengths, but what they forget is to take feedback. It is important for you to take feedback so that you know what people are also talking about you. See, because there is something that you know, but also it is always good to take a feedback from your subordinates, from your bosses, from your peers, right? What are they talking about when they talk about you? So what are they giving the feedback about you? What are they talking about, right? Your coworker, your coworkers, what are they talking about? Are they talking about you in terms of being great in solving some technical problems? Are you become being a good team player, a good team leader? What are they talking about? Because people, when they give feedback, they know, like, when they are giving feedback, okay, what is something that people really appreciate that comes very naturally to me, right? Because if you are able to identify what comes naturally to you, this can provide you some insight into what areas are you really good at that people also appreciate, right? So that's the first step, step number one, which is self assessment, including your passion, your strengths, and feedback that's coming from external sources. Now, what is step number two? Step number two is comparison between the two. Like, we know there are two things that we are looking at. One is the technical thing, right? The second one is the management. So you have to compare between the two. So this step is comparison between the two. Like, what are the advantages and disadvantages when it comes to, like, technical? What are the advantages when it comes to technical? For example, let's take up the technical role first, right? Advantages, what are the advantages when you look at the technical role? Depth of knowledge. If you become an expert in your domain, it will be highly rewarding, right? Technical people highly paid, IT industry, one of the highly paid industry. So if you are having depth in certain technology, then you can be highly rewarding, and it offers job security, especially the job security in specialized areas. For example, today artificial intelligence, right? People are minting money there because somebody can write a code, somebody can do certain thing great in that, then they are minting money in that. Similarly, like, there are many things in technology. It can be cloud computing, it can be different technologies. So your depth of knowledge, if you have that, you get an advantage in that. The second one is hands on creation. If you are a technical guy, then you have the hands on creation. What do I mean by that? You are directly involving in creating and shaping a product. You are directly involving solving a bigger problem. So there is a hands on creation, that's an advantage. And the third one is tech evolution, right? Today we know most of the people, after a certain point of time, they get bored, right? They don't know what to do. But with technology evolving, so you are always on the go, right? You are always, like, you get new challenges. There is always something new to learn. There is always something that you can challenge yourself, because technology job, since technology is all evolving, is highly challenging. And it's highly dynamic, so it will help you in terms of staying dynamic there. But what are the disadvantages when you look at the technical roles? Number one disadvantage is rapid change. We know technology is changing at a rapid pace. So, since technology is changing at a rapid pace, you need to keep upgrading yourself. You need to keep learning, keep learning, keep learning. And sometimes it can be exhaustive, right? And there is no end to this learning. So, this can be really something where you get exhausted, and when you feel that, hey, I just don't want to do this, right? So, that's a disadvantage. The second disadvantage is potential for burnout. Now, as we know, the IT job is highly challenging, right? There is a lot of things based on your role. There can be different challenges, right? In terms of pressure, in terms of intensity, in terms of the tight deadlines, in terms of the problems, different scenarios that you go through. So it might cause burnout, right? And it might make you to feel burnout, which is one of the disadvantage of being in the technical field. And the third one is limited influence on broader strategy. Now, if you are a technical guy, you might be working on certain technical aspects of the things, because of which you don't have a broad influence, right? Your influence is very limited to that particular tool or technology or solution, right? So because of that, you might not have, like, a greater opportunity to make decisions in organizations. You don't have greater opportunity in terms of to influence people, to influence the broader business strategy, right? So that is limited. And because of those limited things, you will not be visible in the organization like any other leader or somebody who is, like, front facing, or who is looking at the diverse or the broader strategies. So those are the disadvantages of getting into technical. Now let's look at, we covered the technical disadvantages and advantages. Now let's look at managerial role, the management role. What are the advantages and the disadvantages? Advantage number one, broader impact. Since you are now as a management role, you are handling teams, you are handling people, you might be handling multiple projects, right? So you have a substantial impact on the organization's success because of that. Number two is skill diversification. Now because you are into a management role, you will be made to learn, right? You will anyways have to learn a lot of things, and there will be a skill diversification. You might know problem solving as well, you might know decision making as well, you will learn in terms of team handling as well, you will learn conflict management, you will learn leadership, you will learn project management. Lot of things that you need to learn, which is like diversifying your skills, right? That is also an advantage when you are in a management role. Number three is higher earning potential. Now, as an individual contributor, the kind of impact you might create in an organization might be good. But when you are handling huge teams, think of it. Now, as a leader, as a manager, if somebody has five technical resources under him or her, so how much is the impact? Into five, minimum into five, right? So, because somebody as a leader or a manager is handling multiple teams, projects, stakeholders, they have the potential to earn more money, right? So, their earning will be more because they are doing greater things for the organization. So, these are the three advantages of getting into management role. What are the disadvantages now? If you look at disadvantages, disadvantage number one in the management role is less hands on. Now, while you are technical, you might get a lot of technical hands on to build the product, to build a solution, to build a service. But here in non technical role, you will have less hands on. So, if you are somebody who is like challenging in terms of technology and all, you might get bored because there is no technical work to do, right? A lot of things would be like in terms of dealing with people, dealing with teams, clients, and all of it, which will be less hands on in terms of technology. Number two is increased responsibility. One of the disadvantages when you are like a technical guy, but when you are a managerial guy, right? When you are into the management role, increased responsibility because now you have teams to handle, right? There are people under you. Now you have like stakeholders to handle. Now you have clients to handle. So multiple people to handle, and the team performance is also dependent on your performance. So there is increased in responsibility, increased in pressure, right? Increase, which can be also like stressful at times because you have to handle teams, people, stakeholders, clients, lot of these things that you are handling, which is like increased responsibility, which is actually making you more maybe stressful. Number three, disadvantage number three is navigating office politics. Now, wherever you go, you know there is office politics, right? And when you are in management role, you have to be like, you somehow become a part of office politics, whether you do it or not. If you have 10 members team, like there would be some challenge or the other which you will have to navigate, which you will have to resolve, which you will have to take care, right? Politics that is at the lower level with people that you are handling, and also at the higher level, because at the higher level when you are reporting to people, again there is politics, right? Again at the peer level, lot of politics. Now since you are in a management role, you cannot avoid it. You will become a part of office politics, which is something that will be one of the disadvantage if you see the management role, right? Here you cannot avoid office politics when compared to the technical role. So these are the three advantages and disadvantages of the management role. Now we understood step number one, which is self assessment. Step number two, which is comparing between the two roles, the technical role and the management role, where we looked at the advantages and disadvantages. Now, what is step number three? Step number three is the most critical step. What is step number three? It is the decision making process. Now, here is where you need to make the decision. You did the self assessment, you understood the advantages and disadvantages of both the field. Now, here is the place where you make the decision. So, how do you make this decision? Now, a lot of times people make wrong decisions, and throughout their life, they repent on the decision. One decision, one wrong decision can change your entire life. And this decision, what you take in terms of your career, right, where you are whether choosing the technical path or whether you are choosing the management path, this is a very crucial decision. And if you make this decision wrong, then your career will go in a different direction. But if you are able to make the right decision here, your career is going to accelerate. You will become successful in your career. So how do you make that decision right? I call this as the 3T framework. What is it? 3T framework, where there are 3 T's that you need to look at whenever you are making decision. T number 1 is think on paper. Now, a lot of us, we know the number of thoughts that go on in our mind are thousands of thoughts, right? In that, most of the thoughts are negative. You are mixed up between negative and positive thoughts, a lot of things here. So, why don't you put on paper? Whenever you are making a decision, always put on paper in terms of, like, as we already discussed, the advantages, disadvantages. Why don't you write on paper, right? So when you think on paper, it helps you to think better, because when your thoughts are written down, when your pros and cons are written down, there is a potential outcome can provide more clarity to you, right? And you are, if you are able to visualize your options on paper, it often makes it more easy, because you can see that and you know what is the best thing to do, right? So think on paper is T number 1. What is T number 2? Right? What is the second T? The second T is think long term. A lot of people, when they look at career, they get confused between career and job. Job is a short term endeavor, but your career is a long term endeavor. So always think of long term. Don't just think about one job, one company. Think of the long term career, right? When you think of this long term endeavor, your career in long term, then you will always think of, hey, in the next 5 years, where do I have to reach? In the next 10 years, where do I have to reach? In the next 15 years, where do I have to reach? In the next 20 years, where do I have to reach? And if you know that, if you are able to align your goals with your vision, that's when you are doing the right decision. Otherwise, if you are just taking decisions thinking of right now in terms of short term, then your decisions will not help you in the long term. And when that does not help, you fail in your career. So that's the second T, which is think long term. And the third one, this is my favorite. This is like the fast track path, right? What is that path? T number 3, the third T is tap on mentor's wisdom. Now you know only how much you know, right? And you might have made a lot of mistakes in your life, which you cannot recover now. And do you want to make more mistakes? Is the question that you need to ask yourself, because you don't know everything. You don't know, sometimes you don't even know what you don't know. And that's the big problem. And because of that, you will pay a huge cost, which is called the cost of ignorance in life. So tap on mentor's wisdom. Now it's important for you to have a mentor in life, a mentor who have walked the path, right? Choose a mentor wisely, somebody who has walked the path, right? For example, when I got into coaching, I saw a lot of people coaching others, right? And many people just have theoretical knowledge. Now don't go to these people who have just theoretical knowledge, because they cannot coach you. They have not walked the path. They don't know how to choose the path, right? For example, I've been in the IT world for 17 long years. I myself have got into these kind of situations where I had to choose between technical and a managerial role. I've been there in the appraisals, I've been there in the hikes, I've moved from one company to the other. So I've walked that path. So when you have somebody who has walked the path, that's how you choose a mentor who can actually understand your technology, your field, who can understand the feelings that you're going through, the emotions, and where you are right now, so that he or she can navigate you the right path. So tap on mentor's wisdom, because it is very important to have a mentor in life, because a mentor would have already failed multiple times, succeeded multiple times, and would have not only tested or experimented things on himself or herself. A mentor would have done it for hundreds and thousands of mentees. Now when somebody has experienced that, when they have guided others and others have got success, right, the same process can help you to get success as well, right? I hope whatever points we shared is helpful to you. And as you stand on the crossroads of choosing between a technical and a management role, or a management role, remember that the right path is the one that aligns with your passion, your strengths, and your long term vision. And I would recommend you to utilize the 3T framework that I shared with you. What is the 3T's framework? If I have to again remind you, think on paper, think long term, and tap a mentor's wisdom to guide your decision making. Whichever path you choose, now the one thing that I want to tell you is whichever path you choose, embrace it with commitment and openness to learn, right? And if you are open to learn, if you want to know more insights, to get more insights, to learn more, to get more guidance on the journey, you can follow me on social media. I'm Fatah Khan, a mid-career transformation coach on a mission to transform 10 million lives by helping mid-career professionals to become legendary leaders and create an impact in their industry, right? You can follow me on social media, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, so that we can navigate the future of your career together. And if you find this helpful, please do share with others so that others can also navigate their career path and become successful in their careers. And as I always say, if they can build their dream career, they can also build their dream life. So all the best for you to build your dream career and dream life. Thank you so much.